Hello, this is Stephen Burns once again, and I'm going to share with you another example of using quick masks. Okay, in this one, I have more of a landscape area, and we're going to actually take this rock, isolate this protruding rock from the water, and place it into uh, this image, which is a beach scene here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start, and I'm going to duplicate my layer. Always professional way of working in Photoshop. Command Control J. Alright, so I'm going to start with the quick mask and just quickly draw around it. And oftentimes I find quick mask to be a little bit slow. So what I would do is this. Let's turn off the marching ants, Command D, and just go over here to Magic Wand. If I click on it, it isolates it pretty quickly. Now take a look up here on my options bar. I have contiguous turned off. Now what does that mean? I'm going to hit Command D to turn that off again. And if we turn on contiguous, what it simply means is I can adjust my tolerance to select how much of the area is going to be selected. And if I hold the Shift key for the Magic Wand tool, I have to hold the Shift key to continue to select. Okay, now I still have to hold the Shift key down, but if we turn off contiguous, that means whatever pixel, color, or luminance that pixel is, it will select that color and luminance everywhere simultaneously in the scene. So if I click it, look, instantly all the sky is selected. Some of the water areas in here, which is similar to the tonal and the luminance values and color variations of the sky. Hold the Shift key down. Let's grab some of these other areas, and you can see that I'm starting to add more to it. Now, okay, I went a little bit too far there. No big deal. What we're going to do is we're going to exclude or isolate the rock from everything else. So go ahead to the Quick Mask tool. It's green here by default. In fact, let's go, we can change that. And if you look at the video tutorial 1, go back and watch that, and it gives you instructions on how to change it. So I'm going to kind of get in close here, and I'm going to keep it close. Hit the B key for my brush, and sometimes it's just better not to just deal with the brush, especially if it's a real broad area that you know you're going to get rid of. Sometimes it's better to go with the lasso tool. I hit the L key for the lasso tool, just select it very quickly, and my background color is white. So I want to fill that selection with white, which is Control or Command Backspace to fill with the background color. Alright, I'm going to come around here and just select these areas, and I'm also going to go ahead and select a lot of this in here. This is a lot faster than using the brush, so Command Backspace once again, and looks pretty good. Now there was some inside areas that weren't selected as well as it should have been, so I'm just going to go ahead around the perimeter and just get all this done now, get most of it out of the way so I don't have to spend a lot of time with the paintbrush. And since the foreground color is black, Alt or Option Backspace will fill with the foreground color. Alright, so it's done. So Command D or Control D gets rid of my marching ants, and let's go down here and just deal with the edges. Get in close. Alright, that's much better. And hit the B key for my brush. Bracket key to the left. Make sure I'm going to be painting with the white. Come across here, and I'm now I don't have much to deal with but the edges. Make this a little bigger if I have to, and don't forget you can adjust your softness of the edge of your brush. So I'm just going to quickly bring it across. Okay, and I'm using a little bit of a circular movement to get some of these broader areas outside. Bring it back a little bit. Okay, and I'll make the brush a little bigger because I've got a little bit more of an area to select. See, I'm very quick. I'm just going to bring it across. Doesn't have to be perfect because I can hit the X key, bring the brush smaller, and just come back and deal with these edges a little bit better. So I'm going to come right over here. I've got some areas where it's spilling out, and that's going a little too close to the pixel area, pixel level. I'm going to zoom out, hit the X, and it's okay to go to the pixel level. It's not a bad thing, depends on what you're doing. Hit the X key again, so I want to keep these areas right inside the borders. Oops, I accidentally hit the move tool. I'm moving the mask. I want to hit the B key and paint with black right in here. Alright, so we're almost done. Looks pretty good. We're just dealing with the edge detail. And if you see any stray pixels here that was missed, as you can see really right in here, right in these areas, hit the B key and just quickly paint them with the color of the mask, which in this particular example we want to be solid green. Yours may be blue, yours may be red. Play with the colors. It doesn't matter. The concept is exactly the same. Alright, just going to quickly go around here. And looks good, looks good. Just spinning around. Just flick, click and hold the space bar and flick your hand so that your mouse or your document scrolls smoothly. And hit the X key once again to get these areas on out. Now, Command 0, I have my rock protrusion basically is masked out. Everything else is open. So let's go back to my standard selections, which is the key to mastering Photoshop is mastering selection. So you can see that we missed some areas down here. That's no big deal because the areas that are selected are outside the rock. So hold the Alt key and just select those real quick, and that will quickly take it out. Alright, that's a way we can discard marching ants using our standard selection tools here. We want the rock to be selected, so we're going to inverse the mask. So select menu Y because we're going to modify a selection, and we can go to inverse or shift control or command I. So if you use shortcuts, use them every time. If you don't, you're going to forget. So let's go ahead and put these side by side. I'm going to drag this out here, and I'm going to drag this out as well. In fact, hit the V key from our move tool, click and hold, drag it on over, place it on top. There it is. I don't need this one anymore, so I'm going to close it out and say no, don't save it. And let's maximize it just a little bit and take a look at it. There we are. Alright, so our background's a little bit dark, so I'm going to bring up the values on that a little bit. Let's go to Command J, duplicate that layer, and with this selected, let's go ahead and dock that on in there just by clicking and drag it off. That undocks it. You put your mouse right on there, you can see the little colored border, just that docks it. Okay, so let's apply a levels quickly. And if we bring this over to the left, this is your midtones, your shadows, your midtones, your highlights. We have a lot of midtone in here. Bring it up. Okay, bring in a little more brightness in the whites. We're going to add some. All we do is we're basically bringing this little highlight slider to the base of the curve. Okay, and you may want to go that far, you may not, but bring the sliders back for the midtones just a little bit. And I'm going to bring the highlight slider back so we're not going to blow out too much of our highlights. Alright, bring the midtones up just a little bit. Okay, alright, so let's go get the rock. Hit the V key, and let's put this where we think it's going to look good in this image. So I want this to look like it's actually going to go back here in the background, like so. So Command T. If you hold your shift, it will constrain it, and resize it right down in here. And you don't have to hold shift if you don't want to. If you don't hold shift, you're actually going to distort it a little bit. And since this is rock, there's no definitive shape, so we're going to place it right back in here. And remember, we can rotate it just a little bit as well if you like, and try to make it a little bit part of the scene. And hit enter. Okay, so the background is a little bit hazy, so if you want this to look a little bit more realistic, what we're gonna do, and we go over these aspects a little bit more in the intermediate class, but I'll give you a little bit of a teaser. So I'm gonna double click on a layer here, and if I double click, I'm going to get the layer styles dialog box, and the color of the haze is kind of a bluish color. So if I go right over here to my color overlay, select the color that I want the haze to be, and actually just tap right on that area. I can go down to the lower tonality, tap on it, and bring down the opacity, and there it starts to fade into the background. It looks a lot more accurate. I'm going to click OK to what's going on in the background here. Okay, so that was another example of using quick masks to isolate our subject matter to use as a composite within another photograph. And I hope you enjoyed it. This is Stephen Burns. I look forward to working with you next time.